So this is Nutrition Awareness Week, and we're here with dietitian Mrs. Nicole France. We're focusing on number 5 in the nutrition guidelines.
Right, which is to reduce sugar in our diets. So what we're focusing on for this Nutrition Awareness Week is how to cut back on sugar in our diets, because excess sugar can cause a lot of health problems. Some of the health problems that we have is that it can actually cause diabetes, which, as Dr. Brown pointed out in the opening remarks, that a lot of persons in St. Vincent, the numbers are increasing, diabetes, which in the long run can lead to kidney failure. So what we're trying to get the general public to do is to cut back on sugar. Our display today, we have popular products used in St. Vincent among young people, young and the old, and what we have is the actual amount of sugar found in the products here. Yeah, the items or the products. And they're hidden sugars, because a lot of persons don't even know that some of the products have so many sugars. So the requirements for adults is basically 60 spoons per day. That's it for the whole day. 60 spoons for the entire day. One Coca-Cola alone has it more than that. So it adds up over time. So what we're trying to do is get persons to cut back how much sugar we add to what we eat and to what we drink. Sugar may not be a bad thing. I mean, eating fruits, we get natural sugars from fruits. But what we encourage people to do is that once you consume these sugary beverages, be active. Go out, run, play, especially children. You can't expect a child to sit down and just eat sugary products and then they sit down on the couch at the home and they play their games and they're not active. That turns into belly fat. So what we encourage them to do is that if you eat the fruits and the sugary stuff, you need to be active also.
We know as a consequence of excess sugar, diabetes is a major concern.
Major concern.
What tips do you have for diabetics concerning their management of sugar?
Diabetics need to control portion sizes. There's some things we tell them to stay away from totally. This is the mango season. We tell our diabetics to stay away from mangoes because mangoes have a lot of fructose right now. They're very sweet. We tell them to stay away from things like that will send the sugar sky high. So what we encourage them to do is portion size. Everything in moderation. Drink lots of water, and they are allowed a certain amount of foods with sugar, yes, but they have to be conscious of how much they are consuming. So everything in moderation. And still be active too. Diabetics need to be active also.
All right, thank you.
On Saturday, we have our grand finale, where from 1 to 6, what we're going to do is we're going to have an obstacle course. And we're encouraging the fit, the unfit. Everybody, come out with your team. 5 members per team, at least 2 males, 2 females. Or the fifth person can be male or female. You can bring kids too. You're going to go through an obstacle course. Each team member must finish the obstacle course. Prizes are to be won. We will have activities for children too. We want persons to see that exercise can be fun. So that's the whole aim of Saturday's activity. Come out, enjoy yourself with the fun activities we have, and at the same time you're getting a good workout. B-Fit will be there, sports department will be there, and of course nutrition unit will be there. So bring your teams. Registration is free. You can register at the nutrition unit and Ministry of Health. You can register on the day at Annisville too. Come out and enjoy yourselves.
I just saw you buy the sweets boots, and now I see you here to check your pressure. You ate too much sweets, and how are the activities going so far?
It's going good. I mean, I just walk in the road and I decide to just come and check out what's going on. Now I'm in the process of getting my sugar level checked, my sugar level. I have already got my pressure. She told me it's borderline. So I guess I had to work on my diet and see my intake, the things that I eat, pay more attention to it.
And what information did you learn from over by the nutritionist?
Well, they were speaking about how you should use toothpaste and how you should brush your teeth, short brushes and so on, and you should floss like once a day and so on, and tell you how important it is to use the right toothbrush and how to use it. Not to use a hard, but like a medium or soft toothbrush.
Okay, so you find this to be very beneficial?
Yes, it is, because I have already have some information for me to read upon and some for my 2 boys and so on. So I find it very beneficial, and I'm going to take more interest in my teeth and my mouth and so on, my gums and so on. Yes, on a whole.
Thank you so much. So we're here with members from the fisheries department, and they're pretty much going to tell us about their role in today's activity and give us some tips about taking care of our health as it relates to fisheries or just in general.
Okay.
So we are from the Quality Assurance and Product Development Unit, and this is Ms. Antrobus. I'm Elisa Martin from the Quality Assurance and Product Development Unit, and this is Ms. Nyasha Antrobus, and she's from the Public Ed Unit. Okay, our involvement in today's activity is to showcase some of the activities that we do at fisheries. And from the quality assurance and product development perspective, so far we are showcasing onboard handling to show how fishers must handle the fish at sea from the time it's being captured. And we always encourage the fishers to take ice at sea as well, because we also want to reduce spoilage, reduce the growth of bacteria, which can also impact persons' health, especially persons who consume fish raw in the form of sushi or sashimi. It's very important when it comes to icing and the handling on board of the boats. Also, we have some brochures here showcasing the quality of fish at the landing and storage sites. And we encourage people, when you go to buy fish, you check the gills, you check the eyes, you also check the flesh of the fish to ensure that the fish is fresh. And when you also go to purchase your fish, you must also take a little ice box where you can also ask the fishers to give you some ice also. Because in the Caribbean, we capture a lot of tunas and dolphin, mahi-mahi, and wahoo, which is the kingfish. These fish species are susceptible to histamine poisoning formation. And when persons consume these fish, we know it locally as bun mouth, right? And most people will tend to just say, oh, I bought some fish and the fish gave me bun mouth, and they discard the fish. But this is the bun mouth is as a result of an allergic reaction. So persons have to take this very seriously, because you can also have rashes, you can also be hospitalized, and there are also instances where people have died. In the Caribbean, we do not take this very seriously. We just say, oh, the fish bun mouth. And people also tend to think that because the fish is not, if fish is on ice, that the fish is not fresh. So we need to move away from that misconception. The fish is placed on ice so that the freshness can last longer, and also for preservation purposes. So when you go to buy the fish, when you see it on ice, that's what you want. And then you also do your quality checks where you look at the eyes, the gills, and you also touch the flesh to ensure that the fish is fresh as well. Because we want to reduce the instances of bun mouth, and we also want persons to desist from buying fish on the streets. A lot of people are buying fish on the streets and then they end up and they become ill. Okay, so that's our involvement in today's activities, to showcase some of the different things we do at fisheries. We also had a brochure that we were talking about some of the different tests we do in the lab, because in the quality and assurance section, we are responsible for inspections for import and exported fish products. We also conduct testing on fish products, also on ice and water, where the fish is being captured at sea, and also where in the fish processing establishment, the water that they use to process the fish. And we also do tests on the ice as well. And also recreational waters, whether see where you bathe or pools or rivers, we also do tests on those as well. So these are some of the activities that we do, along with product development, where we show people how they can utilize the fish to make other dishes as well.
Want to tell me a little bit about the lionfish that is being displayed in the tank here?
Yes. We want to take this opportunity to educate the public about the lionfish. The lionfish, it's invasive to the Atlantic Ocean. It's more synonymous with the Pacific side. And because it's an invasive species, there's no known predator around this side of the world. So we're encouraging people to eat the fish. It may look really scary and all of that, but what happens is that the spines that we see protruding out of the fish, the spines are what are venomous. But once the spines are cut off, you're left with a normal fish. It's a delicacy, a white meat fish, and I've had it for myself, and I'm still alive. So it's not poisonous. It's just venomous once the spines, that is. But once the spines are cut off, you're left with a lovely, delicious fish.
So we're here with the dental therapist, Mr. Andrew Williams, who's been doing demonstration in today's expo, and you have been getting a good reception. Just tell me a little bit about your role here today, and maybe you could do a demonstration for me after.
Okay. Well, we have been getting a lot of attention. Persons, they actually love the dental booth. What we are doing here today is we are showcasing a lot of different types of toothpaste, and we also showing persons how to brush their teeth efficiently, because a lot of persons, they tend to brush their teeth in one direction, and I'm trying to show them a different way that they could actually brush their teeth to get a more efficient clean. So persons, they have been really loving the demonstrations. We also have been giving out samples as well, and I'm here with my teaching aid that we normally use. So, this is Bugsy, who was named by one of our children. We normally use him in the school program that we do as well.
Okay, so you're going to show me a demonstration?
Oh, of course. For most persons, they normally say that they brush their teeth in this direction. They use the long strokes. And what that does is that the toothbrush bristles, it causes the toothbrush bristles to actually miss certain areas, the interproximal areas. And those areas tend to accumulate a lot of food. So what I'm showing persons today is to use short pulsating strokes. What this does is that it pulsates the bristles into the interproximal areas and tends to break up food particles that tend to accumulate in the area. It also stimulates the gums as well, so for persons who are beginning to get early onset of gingivitis, it can help to stimulate the gums into a healing process as well. So persons, when they brush the teeth, they need to start using short pulsating strokes all the way around. They're going to do this for the outside, the inside surfaces, and then they can brush the chewing surfaces. We also want to invite persons to remember to brush their tongue and also the roof of the mouth, because not many persons realize that when they close their mouth, the tongue tends to come into contact with the roof of the mouth, and it also needs to be brushed, because that could be an area where bacteria gets trapped. Okay? And also, we want to emphasize flossing, as food tends to accumulate in the interproximal areas where the two teeth meet. And because the toothbrush bristles, they may be small, but they do not get down into these areas. So we want to eliminate food from these areas, as they can cause cavities. And these cavities, we have a hard time detecting them at an early stage. So we encouraging persons to change the way in which they brush and to also floss at least once a day to get rid of as much food as possible from the mouth.
Or any other healthy tips you want to give to persons who may be listening to this?
I want to encourage parents as much as possible to monitor your children. Monitor their sugar intake, as children, they do, even though they may not eat a lot of sugar at home, they may go outside, they may go to a relative's house, and they may be eating a lot of sugar there. Monitor your children, teach them early to adapt healthy snacks, to eat healthy, and to also brush their teeth as much as possible. We want to have them brushing their teeth at least 3 times a day, especially at night before they go to bed. That's very important to getting rid of the food source for the bacteria. Less food for the bacteria, less chance of you getting cavities. Get your children into flossing as well, and as usual, you need to visit your dental clinic.
So we're here with Ms. Shamanti Laban, and she is responsible for the vector control unit. And can you just tell me about your role in today's activities?
Okay, so as you know, this week is actually Nutrition Week. So we try to incorporate vectors and how they can have an impact on the food that we eat. So we're looking at a number of vectors, as you know, for example, roaches or flies, as well as rodents, okay? So basically we are looking at how these vectors can contaminate your food. For example, if you have an infestation or if your food is not secure, they can have an impact on the food that you have stored. For example, rodents, they can have an impact on the agriculture industry and in terms of the food that you have there. For example, if you have your food in a storage area or a storage shed and you have a problem with rodents and it's not properly secured and they have access to that food, they would go ahead and they can contaminate your food. And as you know, they can also carry diseases. we also have on display different types of droppings for the different types of for the 3 types of rodents that can be found in St. Vincent, as well as for roaches as well. So as well as lizards. So persons can be able to identify if they have a problem with any of these vectors. They'll be able to identify the type of pest that they have based on a number of things, and one of these is actually the droppings.
Okay. Are there any tips you would want to give to persons in terms of taking care of their health or their surroundings as it impacts what they eat?
Yes, so it's very important that you keep your environment clean, and the Public Health Department is an agency that goes out there, monitors and deal with a number of things, but we also have to play a role as it relates to our health. So try and keep your environment clean. Whatever food that you would have purchased, for example, ensure that the package is not being compromised in any way. And for example, those farmers as well, their produce where you have them stored, ensure that it's free from pests. So whatever you sell to consumers, it's not being contaminated.
Hi, what's your name?
Zion.
Zion, and how have you been enjoying the expo so far, the exhibition so far?
It was good,
Yeah, what have you learned?
that you need to brush your teeth 3 times a day.
We're here with Mrs. Hathaway, and she's one of the senior members of the nutrition department. Saturday is the fun event. Tell us more about it.
Well, Saturday, the 10th of June at Annisvale 2 from 1 to 6 p.m. We have obstacle course and fun day. Bring out a team of 5. Come in your jersey and we'll fold you with your bibs. Okay, we have different activities such as obstacle courses. We have tire flip, tire jump, pallet jump. We have drunken master, musical chair, tug of war, lemon spoon, 3-leg race, and at the final we have last man standing. Come and see who will be eliminated and who will take that trophy. Remember, we have bouncing castle and we have activities for the children. So come out, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and let us collaborate as one country and one nation.